I'd love to start diving into some of the lessons and how this big uncertain moment impacted product decisions, engineering, or strategy changes. Bridget, when you reflect on this experience, like, are there some lessons that stand out to you in hindsight, looking at everything that happened?
Yeah, I mean, we were founded with this premise that we could use technology to completely change everything about real estate, to make it more cost effective, to make it easier to be on our customer side. And so when the pandemic hit, we had been working for years on trying to move more of real estate online. And one of the things we'd built was this concept of virtual touring. So you could stay on your couch, but have an agent visit a home with either their phone or another digital technology and kind of give you that experience of being in the home. You didn't have to leave your couch. But we could only get a very small number of people to hit that button. But despite all of our trying, we only had 1% of our tours happening virtually. And then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden it was like the future came early and people were ready for that digital experience that we'd built. And almost overnight, it jumped to about a third of our tours being virtual. And so we were so glad that we had invested in that. And it was this technology that we'd almost put on ice, we'd almost set aside. So I think one of the lessons was just, you can build a product that is this great idea, but the consumer still really has to be ready for it, and that can change quickly.
The usage part is so interesting. When were you looking, I guess, like at a dashboard of, you know, click-throughs to that particular button? Like, how did you identify that moment that this was an inflection point for that product?
We are a very data-driven business, so we've got dashboards for all sorts of things, and looking at how someone starts on the site, searching all the way to through when they buy or sell their home. So everything was heavily instrumented. And when the pandemic hit, we just started saying, oh my goodness, like, everything is going to change. We're going to start seeing all of these new patterns. So those patterns around people wanting to migrate to a new location, people touring virtually, people wanting to use, we have a 360-degree walkthrough experience, a virtual walkthrough on all of our listings. We saw a 600% increase in the number of people who were trying to use that 360-degree view on our site during the pandemic. So we just saw those behavior patterns change, and we let our product follow what the customer wanted.
When you're observing this within your teams, how did you align the team on the direction for the next step for the organization? Was it an obvious consensus? Were there certain conversations that had to be had? Was it a big marshaling moment where the entire organization came together and said, we're going to do this and overcome? Like, what was that moment like?
So we've always run our business in this very open and transparent way. We share as much information with our whole company as we possibly can. And so when the pandemic hit and we saw that people weren't touring, they weren't buying homes, we shared that information at our company meetings with all of our agents, with all of our engineers, just so that we could make sure that everyone was aligned on what it was like and what we were going to have to do. So people knew that we were going to have to change, that we were going to have to be flexible, that we were going to have to follow where the market was going and be prepared for that. And so I think that openness, it did create some worry, because that weight of the fact that the business wasn't doing well was on everyone's shoulders. And there was a specter of layoffs. We did ultimately have to furlough a number of our real estate agents, but we decided to take that transparent approach so we could harness as much of the energy as we possibly could, so that we could really be there to help our customers through a hard time.